We're now joined by Robert Mays from The Athletic. We're going to talk about the Bengals' defensive matchup, Robert, with Sean McVay, Matt Stafford, and these Los Angeles Rams. You talked with Ollie Connolly on your podcast recently about how Lou Anarumo's been kind of a chameleon on defense. What do you think we can take away from the last couple of weeks with the bare fronts, for example, against the Titans, and the drop 8 stuff from the second half against the Chiefs, as far as what approach we might see from Lou Anarumo this week against the Rams?
I mean, it's nice, I think, when you see the outcome against the Chiefs and that you have to play against them a specific kind of way in order to affect them. And you look at the numbers and teams blitzing Patrick Mahomes, it just doesn't happen. You know, you have game plans like the Bills in Week 5 where they did 0 times over the course of an entire game. And you look at the numbers as it relates to the Rams against the blitz this year, it's been insane. I mean, if you look at total EPA produced against blitzes, I think Matthew Stafford had the highest since 2016, according to Next Gen Stats. And the Bengals happen to be a team that's comfortable living in that world of not bringing pressure. So that side of it, where it's like, all right, we have to do a very specific thing against this type of offense because of what they've done in that realm over the course of the entire season. The Bengals are a type of defense, I think, that feels comfortable living that way.
Do you think that there's anything that we've seen, like the approach against the Chiefs specifically, where there's a spot for the drop 8 stuff again, or is it going to be back to the bread and butter and maybe some new wrinkles?
I feel like that is a little bit more dangerous against a Rams team that's willing to run the ball.
Exactly.
You know, they are not a great running team by any stretch, but they're willing to do it.
Right.
You're almost playing into Andy Reid's nature by doing that consistently because you don't think they're going to want to run the ball 15, 20 times, even if you're giving them the opportunity to do that.
Right.
The Rams, at their core, are totally comfortable doing that. Obviously, the offense looks a lot different than it has over the last few years with Jared Goff at quarterback, but I still feel like if you present that to them, Sean McVay is going to be willing to take that and run with it, literally.
Yeah, it's something that I've thought about too. It's not really where you've had the Titans game where it's a play action run first team. You've got the Chiefs, and it's literally betting against their tendencies and saying, I trust that Andy Reid is not going to run the ball here.
Yeah.
I trust that Patrick Mahomes is going to play in a certain way. With Matt Stafford, there seems to be, Ollie talked about this with you yesterday, you get him to take that extra beat. You get him to be a little bit late. You talked about the Bengals defense being one of the best in the league at doing this. What is it that causes Stafford to take those extra beats from your observations of how Stafford plays?
I mean, he's willing to hang on to the ball.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the biggest things about him is that he's willing to lean on that arm talent and all of that stuff that comes open on the backside for them. It's been fun to watch them literally expand the offense, right? When you were watching Jared Goff near the end in 2020, it just felt like everything was so constricted. The playbook was constricted. The way that Sean McVay's nerves were felt constricted. And now they have this offense that, in terms of areas of the field, in terms of the way it just feels watching it, it's so much looser. It's so much more expanded. And part of that is because he's willing to sit there, hold on to the ball, hold on to the ball, hold on to the ball, and find those backside routes. Part of that is pass protection. So are you going to be able to squeeze the pocket, make him uncomfortable, take away some of that expansion about what's made this offense really, really good this year?
So the old formula, get pressure with 4 or make the quarterback hesitate, change the look post-snap. Do you have any idea of how Stafford has been with the disguise coverage stuff?
I actually do not know the numbers on that. This is a weird time in the week. We've been doing a lot of stuff where it's looking back, and our preview will dig into a lot more of that. So I'm kind of strangely not set up to talk about like the individual matchup yet, just because that part of the week has not happened for me.
Yeah, it's a weird 2-week period where you have 2 weeks to prepare for the game, but you don't want to get to the matchups too early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know how it goes.
I do. Well, appreciate it, Robert. You can find his work on The Athletic Football Show. Really great stuff from him. Also here on Radio Row this week, so make sure you check his work out this week to find out more about the Bengals-Rams matchup in Super Bowl 56.